Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Greetings From Cybertron. That's Capes and Lunatics only YouTube exclusive show. I am Phil and Funny Man himself.
I am Matt. Exclusive to YouTube. Can you hear me?
No.
What? Oh, okay.
It's like if you asked me, do you speak English? And I said perfect English. No.
Speaking of English. Yeah.
But no.
You speak it at Autobot. Speak at Autobot. Aw, thanks.
You're a professional comedian.
Sometimes.
You want me to speak Autobot?
Yeah, maybe some subtitles. There we go. That's how you clear your throat. You clear your throat in Autobot. We interrupt this episode of The Honeymooners to bring you episode 5.
Humana. Yes, should we jump into that? Oh, this makes me...
Yeah. There's no Transformers news to talk about. We usually begin our Quantum Zone podcast by talking some loose Quasar Avengers news, if there is some. And
that's right.
I don't know. There's a lot of I don't know. There's probably still currently published Transformers books. IDW has a deep backline and supply of them. It's overwhelming. But
I think they just
go with the Marvel roots. Stick with that.
Yeah, we'll start with the Marvel then. See, I think IDW just rebooted Transformers. I think they just started over.
Wow.
All
It's
right.
a lot to keep up with.
So, do you want to do the first page because it is the Honeymooners?
Oh, yeah, all right. I don't know if I can't do the. Is it Nordberg? Is that a character? Is that the guy with the hat? And Ralph?
Or is it Norton and Ralph?
Norton, not Nordberg. Okay. Ralph. Okay, this is Norton with the bent up fedora, the vest. They're sitting around a table in black and white. A couple of flaky, wakey cereal boxes and some other debris around the kitchen while the angry Alice looks in the background. What's the matter, Ralphie boy? Humana, humana, humana. And that's my page. That's how I contribute to begin the show.
Nice. Where's the comedian? Then we see,
thank you.
Shockwave, who we saw at the end of last issue, defeat the Autobots right as they were on the edge of victory.
Yeah, and Shockwave, by the way, we didn't go over the cover, but this is a cool cover.
Oh, it's like a painted thing.
Yeah. All are dead, it says in graffiti.
But meanwhile, there's one standing there. It doesn't say the Autobots are all dead. It says the Transformers are all dead.
Well, all the present day Transformers, since the killer just came in from a different time. Right?
4 million.
And now he's watching TV. He's catching up on what he missed.
Yes,
flipping through some channels.
He's got at least 4 different screens going. On page 2, we see the first at a honeymooner scene. If Alan finds out I spent all the money, I'm a dead man. And he's also watching Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah, Monty Hall.
Oh, Monty, I can't decide which to choose, door number 2 or what's behind the box. And Monty says, take your time, Mrs. Shumway, you have 3 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like Mrs. Shumway is cosplaying as the Tick's friend. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Arthur? Or maybe? I don't know.
Something.
Like that. Yeah.
And then I guess a soap opera because some woman's kissing a guy, which I don't know how she's saying this whole thing of dialogue while she's kissing him. But Brad, I've loved you ever since I saw you at my wedding.
Ooh, scandalous.
And then pay attention. We get a news report. I It cuts in where 3 miles off the Oregon coast, our correspondent Charlene Wells has a live report, as Shockwave saying. Very illuminating.
The Shockwave is continuing. Now he's watching some football. A beautiful crunchy tackle on number 32, tailback Otis Parsley. These humans are even more primitive than I thought. And then you see Charlene talking, Charlene Wells reporting. I'm here with G.B. Blackrock, the flamboyant multimillionaire industrialist. Mr. Blackrock, this new oil drilling platform is said to have no equal. What can you tell us about it? Oh no, I'm a master of this. Oh wait, he's still watching The Honeymooners on the other channel. Oh no, I'm a master of this household. I'm king of this castle. Charlene, this rig is so revolutionary, they'll have to invent a new name for it. We can extract 50% more oil from the grounds than any operation. We can refine it, dock tankers, land planes, do everything but pump gas into your car. But it's Josie Beller here who really deserves the credit. Shockwave is continuing to watch with his all-seeing yellow eye. Miss Beller, have you been called a computer genius even though you're only a few years out of high school? What is your role in this? It's true. I designed the secondary, tertiary oil recovery systems, the semi-automated defense system, the refinery's non-polluting digitized micro scrubbers, but I consider it all just a part of my job, working for Mr. Blackrock. Shockwave he was like pushing a screen across or something. The conquest of this planet and enslavement of its people shall be a simple task.
But yes, everyone keep an eye on GB Blackrock and especially Josie Beller. She's going to play a big part in things to come. All right, I'll take the hard part. The next one's a 2-page spread.
Yeah.
Of Shockwave walking through the arc, and all the most of the Autobots are hanging from the ceiling, almost like look like they're dead. All right, buckle in, people. I got a ton of dialogue on this 2-page spread here. Shockwave says, and I quote, "Indeed."
Flip the page.
Your turn.
And then we have him say, "But I'll attend to those affairs later. Now I must see to the rehabilitation of Decepticons, Thundercracker, Starscream, Ravage, Buzzsaw, and Laserbeak." And you see them become energized. There's a glow around them. All appears to be proceeding well. These life support systems are repairing the injuries they sustained while under the former leadership of Megatron. You see Megatron kind of turn towards him with some coils going through him. According to my calculations, he should have just now been achieving a minimally conscious operating level, although his complete rehabilitation will require much more time.
And on the next page, we see Megatron hanging from the wall. Looks like he's being repaired. Right below the title of this issue, The New Order. And Megatron looking does he look kind of short to you?
Yeah, he's a little stubby. Maybe he got blown apart, put back together. Looks like he lost a little bit in the torso. The groin area looks regular size, and the
arms and legs,
yeah.
But little Megatron,
he just needs some time, just a little bit more time. It's a growing boy.
Maybe he's like a balloon. He's just blowing air into him. See, he has all those hoses on him. So little Megatron says, "Remind me to thank you when I get down from here, Shockwave. Meanwhile, resumption of my command must begin now." And Shockwave says, "You don't seem to understand. These Autobots you see lying dead on the ground are there because I put them there. The Decepticons you see barely clinging to life are in that operating mode because of you. Until I interceded, Autobot victory over us was assured." And there's an editor's note. No. Okay.
You hate editor's notes, Homer.
No. And it was last issue. The final part of the 4-issue in the 4-issue limited series. The evidence says your leadership was faulty, Megatron. Logic says I must assume command of the Decepticons. And underneath that is the credits. Bob Budiansky's script, which I believe it didn't say in the last letters column that he was the editor, but he's taking over writing duties.
Yes. Transfer of power. The new order, if you will.
There you go. And so, Bob Budiansky, script, Alan Kupperberg, art, Rick Parker, letters, Natalie Yomtov, colors, Jim Owsley, editor, and James Shooter, editor-in-chief. Not Jim Shooter, James Shooter.
Yeah, so which did the editor note? I guess maybe Jim Owsley, because it says Jim, but we know him as Jim Shooter.
Nice. Maybe
is it an editor-in-chief note or just a regular editor note?
Maybe that's the difference.
But that was a pretty long epilogue before the title page, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
lots of TV.
Atypical, yeah. And then we see Shockwave continuing to berate Megatron. You'll explain now how you permitted our position to deteriorate so drastically, Megatron. As commander, it is your right to demand anything of me. It is my privilege to oblige. And then we got a little bit of a flashback sequence here as Shockwave continues. As you know, on our home planet Cybertron, war raged for millennia as the weak-willed, peace-loving Autobots tried to prevent us Decepticons from achieving supremacy so we could use our planet as a base to conquer other worlds. Then he shows their ship in space blasting some meteors. Then we learned of a group of the mightiest Autobot warriors who had left on an expedition aboard the very spacecraft we're in now, the Ark, to clear a path through an asteroid belt threatening our planet. We Decepticons used our own craft to ambush that expedition, and although you stayed behind on our craft, Shockwave, our assault would have been successful. Alright, so this is Megatron going on, sorry. Had not the Autobot leader Optimus Prime crashed the Ark into a nearby planet, this planet, Earth, 4 million years we all lay dormant until the Ark was stirred by the rumblings of this Earth structure we're buried in, this volcano. The Ark repaired us, and we awoke to a world brimming with organic life and energy resources. We Decepticons took what is called a nuclear power plant and shaped it into our fortress, but we could not draw from it the energy we required. As you see, Mount St. Helen, whatever, the Mount there.
That last panel is the Decepticon base on whatever nameless mountain that is.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
All right, so next page. There's no mention of it, but Megatron should next thing should have been like the Autobots had aid from like an annoying spider person.
Yes, it's redacted.
Mm-hmm. But then again, continuing the flashback, I compelled a human Sparkplug Witwicky to concoct a fuel for us, but unbeknown to me, he poisoned the fuel. As a result, in the midst of battle with the Autobots, we fell. My last memory before becoming non-functional was seeing you, Shockwave, arrive and defeat the Autobots. By the Great Matrix, I will see that human reduced to carbon ash for his trickery. And Shockwave says, your last statement exemplifies the flaw in your programming, Megatron. Petty vengeance on barely intelligent creatures has no place in our cause. Logic dictates there is no place for such emotionalism in a Decepticon commander, nor is there room for incompetence, for stealing energy facilities and not being able to use them, for being fooled by lower forms for defeat. That is why I now command. Should you disagree, I will be forced to do to you what I do now to this fallen Autobot. And before you get the wrong idea, he's just like blasting this Autobot he picked up in half.
Yeah.
Should logic so dictate. And we see Megatron thinking, talk, Shockwave, talk while you still can.
His arm starts to move, or his hand starts to move. Meanwhile, at a nearby hospital. As the sign says, the nearby hospital is the Greater Portland Medical Center. And you see Buster Witwicky talking to some EMTs. Listen, son, this garage is restricted to hospital personnel only. You'll have to leave. You don't understand. I'm looking for a friend. Oh, and what's your friend's name? Ratchet. And then we see the ambulance pull up with the greetings, Buster Witwicky. How nice to see your carbon-based face again. Ratchet, where you been? As you know, I'm certified as a doctor on my native planet. However, this cybertronic medical oath I took makes no distinction between attending to mechanical or organic life. So when these humans needed my assistance to attend to a cardiac arrest call, I had no choice but to help. I hope I don't cause you concern, Buster. And you see the EMTs inside the vehicle coming out. Who said that? That's okay. I understand. As it turns out, the caller only had what is known as a severe heartburn, an overdose of hot mustard, according to my human medical colleagues. What sort of medical disorder is that? And the guys that were just hassling him look pretty confused. Buster continues undeterred. I'll explain later. Meanwhile, I have good news.
And Buster continues. Dad only had a very mild heart attack. Already he's feeling better in Ratchet. I'm very happy to hear that. And as the guys who are driving in Ratchet are looking all around him saying, nothing back here, Mel. There's got to be a tape deck hidden somewhere, Gus. Tape deck. Buster's saying the doctors say he must have been under a lot of stress lately. I suppose being kidnapped by the Decepticons and accused as a traitor by some Autobots didn't help. Ratchet says agreed. But Dad told me he poisoned the fuel we made for the Decepticons. Powerful stuff. This much would have eaten right through their fuel lines. Little pinch. They attacked the Autobots. They should all be broken down junk heaps by now. And Ratchet, wonderful. I knew your father was a human we could trust. And the guys are still looking around. I'll look behind the grill, Mel. I'll check under the seat cushion, Gus. And Ratchet gets upset. Do you organic creatures mind? I don't go poking around your mouth to see how you talk, do I? They'll run away.
Great expressions on their faces, too.
Oh, yeah.
And then Buster's sitting there like this is the most casual thing in the world. And just kind of rubbing his chin. Was this? Oh, that Ratchet says, whoa, was it something I said? I just tried contacting the Autobot of the Ark via my internal radio, but no one answered. Despite your father's efforts, I'm a bit concerned. I feel I should return immediately. I'd better come along. Out of the question. There's no telling what dangers may await us. I will go alone. But the Ark is far away. Think of all the suspicion you'll arouse by driving that distance without a human driver. And the medical guys were saying, must be some kind of trick, Mel. Right, Gus? A trick. Yeah, it's only a trick. And then Ratchet says, unfortunately, your reasoning is sound. But you could come. Your reasoning is sound, Buster. You come along. Sometimes your thinking is equal to that of a robot I know. I'm flattered. Listen, I just have to run upstairs and say goodbye to Dad. Of course, I understand. So Buster casually walks into the hospital past some doctor talking to a nurse and thinking to himself, I just hope Dad understands too.
And he opens the door to his father's room and says, hello, Dad. How are you feeling? And Sparkplug says, fine, son. I finally convinced the doctors I can't tune up a carburetor from a hospital bed. They say I'll be heading home in only a couple more days. And Buster says, that's great, Dad. I'm going back to the Ark with Ratchet. He needs me. The Autobots need me. And Sparkplug says, son, listen to me. I know the Autobots are your friends, and I realize how exciting they must seem to a kid whose father was only a grease monkey mechanic. But believe me, a civil war between giant alien robots is no place for a boy in high school. It's no place for you. Promise me you'll just say your goodbyes and have nothing more to do with them. You're all I've got, son. And Buster, I promise, Dad. I promise, as he sheds a tear.
Oh.
So is he saying is he saying just say goodbye to Ratchet, or is he just saying you can go to the Ark one more time and say goodbye and that's it?
Yeah. That's a good question. Maybe we'll ponder that further down the line.
Oh, yeah.
Then, in the Ark, we got Megatron is thinking to himself, the supreme arrogance of Shockwave to assume my command. No matter for now, I grant his folly. However, once I and my fellow Decepticons recover from our injuries, I'll see to it that he regrets ever returning to the ranks of the living. And then Shockwave responds, greetings, Megatron. My monitoring instruments show you at a 27.6% improvement in your operating capacity. Do your internal sensors correlate? They do, Commander Shockwave. Good. I'll require the services of every optimum functioning Decepticon to carry out my plans. His plans? His plans? The very thought nearly overloads my cerebral circuitry. Commander Shockwave, you still haven't explained your presence here on Earth. Now, nor your whereabouts for the last 4 million years. Suffice to say, I immediately followed the Ark to Earth after it crashed to investigate. I then became non-operational and stayed that way until recently, revealing the precise circumstances that caused my shutdown might tempt you trying to duplicate them. Thus, it would be illogical for me to divulge more details. Don't you agree? Yes, Commander. And then he thinks to himself, but I won't stop trying to find out. He's salty.
Yes. And then on the next page, we see Shockwave standing there. Wow. He says, my advice to you, Megatron, is to concern yourself more with the present. As you can see, Skywarp, Rumble, Frenzy, and Soundwave all now recovered after sustaining injuries while under your command, as seen in Transformers 3, are nearly finished cleaning up the Autobot wrecks that still lie about. He says, see that they are properly prepared, Soundwave. As Soundwave says, yes, Commander. And Megatron's like, prepared for what? Because we see, is that Rumble or Frenzy? One of them and Skywarp are pulling Brawn's quote-unquote dead body away. Looks like Soundwave is pulling Mirage, and then whatever Autobot Shockwave blasted doesn't look like, just from the smoke, doesn't look like he shot him in the crotch.
It does. It does kind of look like that. That's a low blow.
Personal.
And then he says, to be used as spare parts, of course. You could probably make a lot of money in the... I know that selling scrap metal wasn't big back then, but, nowadays...
Was it 1985? You know how many Autobots are in some VCRs right now?
To be used as spare parts, of course. They, along with their fallen comrades, will fulfill the maintenance needs of us Decepticons for a long time to come. Ha! My arch foe, the mighty Optimus Prime, reduced to a mere supply shed. And then Shockwave says, as always, you underestimate Optimus Prime, Megatron. No, he will not be cut up into wires and microchips. His value is far greater to us if we keep him functional. For it is logical to assume that an Autobot of his stature contains within him, dun-dun-dun, the creation matrix. And then Megatron, very taken aback, thinking to himself, by the divine weld, the creation matrix is the computer program that allows its possessor to construct new Transformer life. Its power is the stuff of legends. Shockwave said, it is said, once every 10 millennia, a new Autobot leader is chosen and encoded with Matrix. I calculate with 99.7% certainty that before leaving Cybertron, Optimus Prime was the last such Autobot. And if he has the program, I mean to get it. Megatron asks, and do what with it? The present 11 Decepticons are not sufficient to fulfill my plans. I will use the creation metric to build more Decepticons. Many more.
And he says, and then we shall conquer this planet. And he starts to transform as he's telling Megatron, I've been studying the Earthlings. They are weak, stupid, and by every known measure, we are their superiors. Their planet's energy resources shall become ours, while they become our slaves. And the time to begin our reign is now. As we see him come flying out of the cave where the Ark is, completing his transformation to his space gun mode, Shockwave leaves Mount St. Hilary and the Ark, entombed within, and jets off into the Oregon sky.
Yeah, he becomes a pretty big space gun. It's not going to a smaller form like a cassette tape, like Ravage would. But.
Yeah.
And then we see elsewhere, and we got Ratchet driving along with Buster in tow, presumably after Buster has already explained to him what heartburn from spicy mustard is. They kind of left that out. Remember, Ratchet, when those paramedics were rushing you to an emergency before, it was okay to disrespect the traffic laws, but now you have to obey them. I'll never understand these silly earthen customs. I could drive myself without anyone telling me. Pay attention, we're coming to a red light. Now stop and wait for it to change. Wow, talk about a front seat driver. Listen, friends, traffic that he's Ratchet is talking to the traffic signal. Listen, friend, traffic signal, we're in a hurry, so if you could please turn green. It doesn't hear you, Ratchet. It's only a machine. I'm a machine, and I hear you, Buster. Yeah, but you're different. And then the traffic light turns to green. Oh, it changed. Thank you, friend, traffic signal. May the rest of the day find you in proper working order. You see, Buster, you have to learn how to talk to people. I'll try to keep that in mind, Ratchet. Some miles later, there's Mount St. Hilary. Buster, what if something is wrong with the Autobots? What will I do then?
He says, I'm only a doctor. I'm not much of a warrior. Damn it, Buster, I'm a doctor, not a warrior. Buster says, I'm sure there's just some technical foul-up or something that's preventing you from making radio contact. After all, your leader is Optimus Prime. We both know, and every kid in America, how great he is. Nobody can beat Optimus. Nobody! And as they start pulling up, Ratchet says, You're right, Buster. As long as Optimus Prime is in command, I have nothing to worry about. What's your page?
And then Ratchet says, but let's stop here before the cave entrance, just to be on the safe side. You're too paranoid, Ratchet. Just take a look for you. Uh-oh. And then he sees some Decepticons kind of manning the entrance. Ratchet, I can see, too. My worst fears are realized. Before the cave entrance, stand frenzy and rumble. The Decepticons have taken over the Ark. I may be the last Autobot still alive. And he transforms into his fighting shape, or his natural state. I must sneak by those Decepticon guards and get to the Ark. Find out what happened, even if I should die in the trying. Buster says, Ratchet, listen to me.
And he says, you're a sure bet to attract the guards' attention, but they may not notice someone as small as me. Let me check things out first, and I'll report back to you right away. And Ratchet says, your reasoning surpasses mine again, Buster. I'm forced to agree, but please be careful. And then we see Buster running into the cave past whatever guard it is. Says, getting by those big brass baboons was easier than I thought. So far, so good. And he's thinking, the Ark, I still can't get over how big it is. It could take me a day just to cover the whole ship. But it's only minutes later when Buster discovers the Autobots. They're all just hanging there like slabs of beef. They all look dead.
Whoa. And then Buster's kind of triggers the alarm. No, it can't be true. There must be some explanation. There must be. Wait a second. I don't see Optimus in there. There's still Optimus. There has to be. And then you see the giant head of Optimus connected to some machinery. And Buster reacts, Optimus! You hear a very weak, feeble line of dialogue from the really beheaded Optimus Prime. Buster Witwicky, you must help me. You are the Autobots' last hope. To be continued next. Megatron versus Shockwave. To the death. Dun-dun.
But didn't they say they can't really die?
Well, you make a good point.
Simulated death.
What is dead cannot die, I guess. Yeah.
This is before the headmasters even.
True.
Prime's like, how do they do it? Do we just get a letter pages of everyone saying, what? More Transformers after issue 4? Yes.
Yeah. It's a big fan favorite. Yeah.
Now there's a letter there asking for the Dinobots. We'll get there.
Ooh, yeah, you got to wait a couple of issues for that one.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a little bit of a sneak preview and me misidentifying what a Stegosaurus is. I'm back on the dinosaur wagon though. I'm identifying things. I'm going to the Museum of Science in Boston. I'm researching.
You're like, I put that stuff away when I was 8, but I'm back.
Yeah, I am here. I can differentiate between a Brontosaurus and a Brachiosaurus. It's mostly the haircut. Brachiosaurus is a mohawk.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do they color it?
Yeah. Yes, it's a big cliffhanger. And, we have a feeling that since the Autobots are all out of commission, and they blatantly stated it's Decepticon versus Decepticon for control of their fighting force. Ooh.
Not spoil too much, but a little town gets in their way. All right. Do we have anything else to discuss?
Not really. I mean, if anyone has thoughts, send them in. If you have any suggestions, there are a couple of different side roads we could take. I have a couple issues of the Headmasters, G.I. Joe, and Transformers.
Well,
there's like an Origins one, but I'm not sure where they come out in the publication history. I'll have to do a little bit more research. But
yeah, we're gonna try to take like those miniseries in chronological order. Yeah, they didn't happen yet, so
yeah, that's cool.
But I think I might try to reach out to someone at IDW, see if we can get some review copies. But so far, anytime I ask for review copies, I get nothing. So
yeah.
Maybe I'll send them links to all our shows.
So doesn't hurt to ask.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Any other Capes and Lunatics news you want to talk about? I know you just did the cosplay.
Oh yeah, Alexandria the Red. Check it out on YouTube or on the Capes and Lunatics podcast. It's getting really good response on YouTube, so check it out. We talk her career. We talk a bunch of the current movies, because a lot of MCU.
Yeah.
But yeah, send us your thoughts. You could be the current version of the letters page. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com.
Are you shocked that there are more Greetings from Cybertrons? Are you stunned?
And follow us on Facebook, on Twitter. Greetings from Cybertron.
Is it at Greet Cybertron on Twitter?
Yeah. At Greet Cybertron on Twitter. Yep. And the voicemail even, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. You don't have to be a communications expert like Soundwave. You can just pick up the phone.
Yes.
All right. So should we get out of here for another?
Yeah. Get out of here. Follow me at Matt Kona.
Oh, yes, that's right. Follow Matt Kona.
Social media things. Hey, I'm around.
Book him for stand-up work. He works for comic books.
I do. I will.
That reminds me, when we're done, I want to ask you about something.
Let's do it.
It's a secret. You people will find out later.
Yeah. You'll find out.
You'll find out if you're lucky.
You got to tease it.
That's right. So join us next time. The Decepticon is still victorious, but what's that? It's always darkest before the dawn. What's Ratchet gonna do? Oh, they have the checklist of the books that month. The Transformers 5 is on it. Now in their own monthly series because you demanded it. See Hypebox. Oh, yeah. Oh, Transformers 5 came out the same month as Moon Knight #1.
Nice.
Oh. All right, join us next time. Roll on out.